I'm tired. I'm Andy. This is Yapzone, episode something. I don't know. I think it's like six, but yeah, this week I'm tired, and so I'm gonna make this a short one. Probably. I say that like every single time, but this one I think is only gonna be like 10 minutes, maybe 15 max. But yeah, this week was it went by. It wasn't too crazy. But the one thing that kind of I guess is the topic for today that kind of I want to hammer on that bothered me a little bit is like it's like a few concepts. Like for one, it's like if worries were weights. If you imagine yourself like, and you take all the things that you worry about for like no reason, and you converted those to weights, like imagining like how much burden you put on yourself all the time is just a lot. And I don't know, I've just come to find myself throughout this week noticing how drastically different that I have been socially from whenever I was like, younger, like in high school and everything. Like me as a person, as somebody who loves entertaining, as somebody who's outgoing to a degree. I'm mostly a homebody, but who likes being social and making people laugh and everything, being like a class clown type person, extroverted introvert, I guess you would say. I was way more comfortable, speaking with strangers, not being worried about what people think of me, just doing whatever, like if something popped up and it seemed like a cool idea, I'd fucking do it. Like I, I didn't think so much. And it's just like, as I got older, I'm just compounding worries on top of worries and thinking way too much to the point where like, I still obviously have good days, but I think I've like drained my battery in a way. Like I'm running on a battery, like an old battery that needs replacement. Because you know how like in general when it comes to a phone, your battery will degrade over time. And when it starts out, it's like, you can full charge it and it'll retain that full charge. But as you use it and if you're not properly charging it, not properly getting the exercise in, then over time it just slowly wears down to the point where it can't hold nothing anymore and you got nothing but like 30% charged battery, and at that point you're almost never going to get any use out of it. So it's like I had this sociable personable brain that loved to take risk and not care what people think, and now it's been molded down into this like very limited version of myself that I'm trying to get rid of. Like I want to get I'm never going to be the same. Obviously, no one's ever going to go back to the way they were before, but I want to take what I am now and evolve into like a combination of the two. And I found myself like lamenting over all these stupid problems whenever I'm thinking about like just something so simple like I've been really good about hitting start button on my recordings and stuff like that and practicing a lot of this like acting and everything and videos and whatever. But the one thing that's been bothering me recently when it comes to like where I am as like a person is just getting so like stressed to talk to certain strangers. And what I mean by certain strangers and not like talk to strangers in general is like if I'm in the right mindset. So like say I have that I haven't fully exhausted my battery yet, even though it's a small battery, that little tiny bit of energy and social skills that I have, like when I'm using that, I'm killer, man. Like I can make friends easy. I can be the life of the party, scuffed Andy, making people laugh, doing whatever. And it's the problem is that like it's very selective. And whenever I burn through that battery, like I'm no longer able to do that. And then I get to this weird point where it's hard for me to talk to anybody that I'm not like overly familiar with. Like getting on a phone call with a stranger or like because I've been trying to do this like I'm language learning right now. I'm learning Japanese partially for my trip, partially because I want to move there, partially just because I love Japanese. And I'm using an app called Hello Talk basically to like meet uh I don't want to say look basically like not national. I don't want to say the word, but Japanese people, fully Japanese people who are like born and raised there and speak the language, and then I'm going to try to converse with them and stuff like that. Like I was able to successfully like have a call with somebody today, but in general, the thought of like getting on a call with somebody, subjecting myself, my persona, who I am, and speaking to them was like making me nervous for some reason, which is fucking dumb. It's dumb. Like I don't know why I'm nervous to talk to somebody. I'm not even doing anything crazy. It's not like I'm opening the phone and doing like a dance half naked, or I'm not like getting on the phone and like proposing my love to somebody. No, I'm just getting on the phone to talk about like language learning. Like it's not some monumental task. And even if it was something crazy, like it's a phone call. It's like it can't hurt you. And I'm over here like thinking about it like it's the fucking Da Vinci Code, and I gotta crack how I'm gonna do it correctly. But I got to this weird point where everything's so convoluted with like things that used to be simple for me. Like I'm getting better, but like this is just the topic kind of that I was thinking about that I've been working on recently. And it's like I see all these people, like all these creators and streamers and stuff like that. And I mean videos of people in general, but they don't have to be creators, of like getting on those weird apps. I don't know if you've seen them, but and this concept terrifies me. But the apps where it's like the video chat roulette kind of apps where they get on it. I think one of them used to be called Omegle, but I think it's shut down now. I'm not sure what the kids use nowadays. But those apps where like you get on and you hit like whatever and another stranger pops up. You have people that like do that, and then this random person they've never seen before is in front of them, you know, has the ability to judge or whatever, and they're just like, "Wah!" Like they just fully themselves, not caring, not worrying, not overthinking it, and just living. And then when you're like that, you open yourself up to so many possibilities. You have like people that you might not want to talk to half the time because you're scared. This is in real life now. I'm not talking about the apps anymore, but like in general, like striking up a conversation with a stranger at a bar or something, or just wherever you're at in public, could lead to drastic changes in your life that are like for the good. And you can't be like afraid of that. And I've just gotten to this point where like I let fear control too much of my life, if that makes sense. I let fear control me hitting the start button. I let fear control me writing new sketches and filming and streaming, and I let fear control who I talk to. I don't want to get too deep into the process because it'll probably be its own separate video, but it all started like when I was around like 20, 21, 22 when my mom died, and I stopped having that person who was able to connect my brain to like what I need to do, and not fully overcoming that grief for a while led me to this point where like being an adult, like on the cusp of finally hitting adulthood, dealing with that, and then not having anyone close by because I moved far away and I was like not around friends. It just like sapped everything from me. Like no skills, no social techniques, just straight bum, just staying in my room all day. Like I still, like I said, could crack out that 10% battery I have left to have like a wonderful time with like, strangers on one random night, and I'd feel like a king, and then I'd go home and then the next day I'm like drained, no battery, and I'm scared to do stuff again. So trying to unlock myself basically has been a goal of mine for a while. And yeah, I just don't want to be the kind of person that like is sitting there looking at their phone, like stressed to make a phone call. Like I can understand like not wanting to bother somebody, but there's a difference between as a person being respectful and not wanting to bother somebody, and then you just being so terrified of the notion of somebody judging you once they see you. And I've been like way too worried about that recently. Like as I fully like blossomed into the person I am, and that bullshit, like I've become more like and more comfortable like in my own skin like as the days go by. But I still have those hangups, and it's like this thing that nobody should ever worry about, but it's not as easy as saying, dude, just don't do it. It's like, like thinking about like how other people see you and stuff like that. If you don't have that in your system and you just never care what anybody thinks about you at all times, it's kind of dangerous. You want to find a healthy balance, and you might be a sociopath if you don't care at all. But usually there's a healthy balance, and most of it should be focused on yourself being placed first. But you still want at least a little bit of respect and reverence for the humans that are living in the world around you. But in general, like I've been working on it, but I'm still not satisfied. And this week kind of proved that a little bit whenever I came to the point where I was trying to like the things that I wanted to do required me to talk to somebody that I've never talked to before. And I'm worried about approval. Like I'm worried about, is this person going to want to keep talking to me after I talk to them this first time? And when you have those thoughts, it's like already game over because there's no reason to think about that stuff. If you're worried about whether or not someone's going to stick around, most of the time you don't deserve them to stick around because you have to trust enough. If you put in the effort, then if that person is the right like fit for what you're looking for, they will stick around. And I'm not talking about like it could apply to relationships, it could apply to work, it could apply to whatever. I'm not talking about one specific niche. I just mean like overall, if you put yourself out there and you're doing, your most to put effort in, and then someone doesn't give it back, it shouldn't be the end of the world. And for some reason, my brain a lot of the times is like, it is the end of the world. Like, and then you get off the horse. You get knocked off the horse. Those worries compound into weights, and then your body's like, I'm not going to move anymore because I faced failure once. I'm not going to want to do it again. And that's something that like I just don't want to succumb to. I don't want to sit here and let it control me. Whenever I think about how I would want to respond to those situations, is like I want to accept, what's the word? Rejection in any form and be able to just like immediately snap back onto my feet. Like someone doesn't say the thing that I wanted them to say, or they might not like me, instead of sulking and being like, oh, I'm not going to try that shit again. Get back on the horse. Like I want to keep it going. Like I'm tired of like feeling paralyzed every time that like things don't go my way. And like I feel so like weak, like, and I know I shouldn't, because there's like power to being candid and speaking openly about yourself, but I just feel so weak like talking about this stuff. And I'm like, my brain is telling me that like a lot of people are the exact same way, they're just not admitting it. So you should feel proud of yourself because you are admitting it. But at the same time, I'm still like, why are you being a little bitch, dude? Just like man up. But in general, it's just like, I say in general way too much. But, you know, I just don't want to be scared of everything. I want to do the things that I want to do. I want to hang with the people I want to hang with. I want to create memories. I want to live my life. I don't want to be shackled anymore by these worries that are just nonsensical and pointless. So that's what I'm gonna be working on. That's the things that I've been thinking about this week. And yeah, I'm gonna try to do that thing where you embrace failure. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's like a book or a TED talk or some shit. But like the guy does like one thing that he thinks he's gonna get a no for every day, and then eventually you start hearing yeses, and that's all it takes is like that one yes to start conditioning you to be used to hearing the no's, and then you know seeing the worth and trying again and getting up off your feet, striving to see that greener pasture that you're looking for. So I don't know if I had to like wrap this up into like a neat little package. It's just basically like, look at failure straight in its face and charge headlong into the fray. Don't sit there and, you know, worry and over strategize and think that you need to have this perfect plan, and then if things go wrong, it's the end of the world. That's not the case. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if somebody rejects your advances. Doesn't matter if you apply for a job and they don't like you. Doesn't matter if you upload a video and nobody watches it. Just move on to the next day, because time is constantly moving. And I know it's hard to believe, but time is in fact not a construct. It's real, and it's scary, but like it's also comforting knowing that all these things, that these messes we create, all these problems that we fall into, these holes, like everything gets washed away with the tide over time, until there's a clean slate again. So if you want to see like, this beautiful tapestry that you're trying to work towards as a person, then you're just gonna have to keep painting, maintain it, keep painting every day. So summing up in not convoluted and big words for no apparent reason, just to say it plainly, stop being a little bitch, Andy. Stop being a little bitch. Just do what you want to do. Yeah, things are going to be scary, but just keep your head out high. Don't hang your head, and trust in yourself. You got this, homie.